Stanza 1 is about how God knows everything about me. Now, whether this leads to positive or negative feelings, that's up to you. But in this stanza 2, the psalmist imagines running away from God. In stanza 1, he talks a lot about traveling and settling in different places, and in this stanza, he does plenty of that. This stanza 2 is full of poetic irony, and it's about how God's presence is everywhere. Let's go. Verse 8 to 9 is where there's a high concentration of poetic devices, so let's zoom in there. First thing to notice is that there are 4 actions that are done by man: ascend, lay, lift, and dwell. These actions give a sense of going up and down and up and down. There's almost a sense of futility in it. When going up and down didn't work, he tries again with similar actions. Next thing to notice here is that there are 4 directions that the man takes. First, he tries to escape to heaven, but this is very comedical because of course God is in heaven. Next, he tries to escape to Sheol, a place that's imagined to be deep below the earth. But this is very silly. The word here for laying means to make a bed in the place, and so he imagines himself buried deep within the ground and making a bed there. Perhaps if he is fully covered with dirt to the point where he could barely move or maybe barely even breathe, maybe then there won't be space for God's presence there. So for the sake of running away, he would even consider places that are very uncomfortable. But there God is. The next 2 lines are to be read together. Dawn is associated with the east because that's the place where the sun rises. And the sea is associated with the west because if you were living in Israel, that's the direction where the sea is. Flying with wings is similar to his first attempt because the word for heaven also means sky. And settling in the sea is similar to his second attempt because the sea is imagined to run much deeper than the earth. And so he says if making a bed and sleeping under the earth does not work, maybe he will try sleeping at an even deeper place, the sea. And so he says if up and down doesn't work, maybe he will try a combination of all 4 directions at the same time. Up and down, east and west. When you put these actions together, it's hard to make sense of what they really mean. Like, what does it mean to lift the wings of dawn and dwell in the farthest sea? But I think the confusion is kind of the point of it. These solutions aren't real solutions. It's a situation where you're desperate and you're just throwing some things together and hoping it works. 3 times man tries to run away and with increasing effort, but 3 times he is surprised to find God's presence there, even at the extreme places. And this 3rd time, not only was God there, but his hand was holding him all along. The irony is that even as man was trying to run away, God was still leading and guiding him. God's presence was even more inescapable than he could have ever imagined. Zooming out, we see 2 lines above where man is considering the possibility of running away, and this is matched with 2 lines below where he has a deep realization of God's presence. In verse 10, the man reasons that if he can't run away from God, maybe he can hide. And so in these first 2 lines, he uses the words darkness, night, and light to describe running away. In the next 2 lines, we see the same words appear and in the same order, but the situation is beautifully reversed. So there's a sense here that his attempt to hide has been fully responded to and fully nullified. These 4 lines also alternate back and forth between the theme words of darkness and light. And line 5 ends with like darkness, like light. The poetic effect here is that darkness and light are truly interchangeable to God. While man cannot see in darkness, God can. With all the structures in mind, let's read the stanza together and let the poetic devices come to life. Where can I go from your spirit? And where from your presence can I flee? If I ascend to heaven, there you are. And if I lay in Sheol, look, it's you. And if I lift the wings of dawn, if I dwell in the farthest sea, even there your hand will lead me, and you will hold me, your right hand. And if I say, surely the darkness will cover me, and become night, the light around me. Even darkness is not darkening to you, and night, like the day, lights up. Like darkness, like light. So the man finds that his creative efforts to run away from God are futile, and God's all-presence far exceeds his expectations and imagination. So, now that the man has realized that he cannot escape from God's presence, what will he do next? Stay tuned for stanza 3. Question for you. How aware are you of God's presence? And have you ever tried running away or hiding from God? Perhaps there's a time in your life where you don't want God to be involved. And if you cannot run away from God, what would you do? Let me know in the comment section below. Would love to read them and respond to them. Thanks for watching. Bye.